Hi there, this is Brick from How to IELTS, and today we have another feedback video, this time with Farhana, who is from Bangladesh. So I will give my commentary, I will give my detailed analysis to Farhana's speaking test, and then at the end of this video, I will share the band score that Farhana got, and I will explain to you all what Farhana can do to get a higher band score. And if you would like your own free speaking test, mock style, with myself, you can join my WhatsApp group. The link is in the description to this video, but be quick though, because very soon I will put a cap on that group and I will not accept any more members because it's already getting full. Anyways, let's begin and analyze Farhana's performance. Good evening. My name is Brick. Could you tell me your full name, please?
Good evening. Um, um, my name is Farhan Akhtar Mili. You can call me Mili actually.
Thank you, Millie. Okay. Okay, starts. Nothing I can take from that just yet. Let's continue. Now, in this first part of the test, I will ask you questions about yourself. So let's talk about hobbies. What do you like to do in your free time?
Actually, I have a lot of things that I like to do, but the most like important thing for me is doing drawing, art, and crafts. This kind.
Okay, just a quick points here, right? Um, we don't do drawing, we just draw. So doing is a verb, and then drawing is also a verb. So we don't say verb, we just say verb. For example, I like drawing. We don't say I like doing drawing. Okay, so a slight grammatical error there, and also the word importance. The way we pronounce it is important, important. Okay. Yeah. So just a pronunciation mistake there. Let's continue.
Kind of thing. I like to do paintings. Paintings. Yeah.
So, and again, we don't. I like to do painting. I like to paint. Paint in this case would be the verb. I like to paint. I like to swim. I like to run. Okay. Let's continue. Other than that, by the way, she seems quite relaxed so far. Let's see how she does.
This is like this is almost like a thing that I usually do whenever I find time.
Okay. And do you have any hobbies you've been doing for a long time?
Yeah, absolutely. Like from my childhood, I was interested in all kinds of arts. Like I mentioned earlier, I used to watch TVs.
This is a very good response. Apart from that last point where she said TVs, with TV, we don't say TVs, okay? It's just TV. I like to watch TV. But this is a very good response. And the reason why it is a very good response is because she's directly answering the question. So the answer is very coherent and it's fluent. Let's continue to see if we can get any more information about this answer.
And used to watch these programs about doing paintings, drawings, did lots of things. So this became a habit of mine to draw cartoons, all kinds of like stuff doing. I
So there you've said it perfectly fine. This became a habit of mine to draw. That was perfect. Yeah, we need more of that for Hannah or Millie.
started to do.
Okay. And how much time do you spend on your hobbies?
Currently, I'm busy with my studies. And
Right. This is a good answer so far. Let me explain why. Again, this is a good answer, just like the last one. You are answering the question without repeating the words taken from the examiner. For example, if I say, what do you like to do in your free time? And then you say, I like to do this in my free time. That's okay, but you've taken many words from the examiner. Here, you haven't done that. You used your own words. And you did that in the last question as well, which is very good. Well done.
And I have a baby, 1 year old baby. So
I have a baby, not I have it.
I'm very busy with my housework and studying. So I don't have much time to do my hobby. I mean, like the paint.
Hobbies. Okay, I understand this is a pronunciation error due to language barriers. Maybe I know people from Bangladesh, they struggle with the B and the V sound. Okay, but it's hobbies. B for banana.
Things I usually do. So I don't find much time right now. Maybe after I take a break for my studies, then I will start again.
Okay, a very nice answer, actually. Very nice, detailed response. You answered the question, added a bit of extra information. Very good. Well done. Okay, and do you prefer to spend time on your hobbies alone or with your friends and family?
Of course, alone. It just my
Really good intonation there. I like the confidence. This is very common, by the way, where people enter the test feeling a bit nervous, and then after two or three questions, they start to get into it and they feel a lot more relaxed. The questions in part one of the speaking test, they are designed to help you feel a bit more relaxed. Okay. Yeah. So you can see that in Farhana's performance or her body language. Sorry.
time, like me time. I don't want anyone
Really good use of a natural English language, me time. Perfect. Well done. Good.
to disturb me or annoy me at the time. It's like for my mental health, physical health, totally my thing. Um, I'm kind of introverted person, so I like do this thing when it's middle of the night.
I like the word. I like that you said the term "kinda." That's a very natural way of speaking. But we don't say "I'm kinda introverted person." I'm kind of an introverted person. Okay. Uh, yeah. Okay.
When no one is going to disturb me. So usually I like to do paintings, like big paintings, at middle of the night when no one's going to know what I'm doing at my room. So yeah.
Okay. Now let's talk about a different topic. We'll talk about food. What kind of food do you usually eat?
Usually, it depends actually. It depends on my mood, but the usual food is rice. Rice is a thing in my household. Yeah. So like my mother usually cook rice and along with other curries
Good grammatical structure there. My mother cooks rice along with good subordinate clause, good connector. Good, well done.
or chicken, fish, these kind of things are the most usual dishes in our house. So this is what I eat. Usually I don't have time to make myself food for me. So what my mother prefers, that's what I eat.
Good use of intonation there. So, what my mother prefers. Okay, good. So, again, intonation is the pitch of her voice going up and down. I saw examples of that there. Well done. Okay. And is there any type of food that you don't like?
Yeah, I'm intolerant with spicy foods. Like I have the weak metabolism.
Again, good use of vocab here, intolerant, but we don't say intolerant with. We say intolerant of. Um, yeah.
I can't eat a lot of sugary food and a lot of spicy food. It's in between. If it's the food, even if it's sweet dish or like other spicy dishes, it should be in between. Like there's no too much of spices. So there's not a perfect thing. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Right, we've now come to the end of part one of the speaking test. We will now move over to part two. And in part two, I will. Right, before we go on to part two, just a quick analysis of her overall performance. Intonation is fine. Her confidence, and you don't get actual marks for confidence, but if you are confident, a part of it is extended over to your performance, and you are more likely to get marks. Okay. So yeah, your confidence is there. Pronunciation, a couple of minor errors. They are minor at the moment. If they continue, they may become major. And if they're a major, it can affect your performance at your overall score. Um, yeah, let's continue. We'll give you a topic and you will speak about that topic for 1 to 2 minutes. But you will have 60 seconds to make notes before you speak. Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, excellent. So I will share the topic with you on your screen now. I'll give you 60 seconds, and your 60 seconds. Right. So let's look at the topic. So the topic is technology, a piece of technology. Describe a piece of technology you use frequently. You should say what it is, how you use it, why you use it, and um, explain how it has improved your life. Okay. Right. This is a good topic now. Okay, so your 1 minute is now over and you can speak.
So the technology I use the most of the time, my daily life, is my iPad actually. It's easy to carry, and
We don't say the most of the time, by the way. We say most of the time. But let's continue.
I use it mostly for my studies. As I'm still a student, I need to do a lot of academic things that I need, like my assignments, maybe a presentation. I'm preferring uh currently, like I'm studying for my masters, and I mean like preparing for my masters. So I need to do all this thing related to my academic stuff through iPad. And while I'm doing other things, maybe I'm using that. Like it's easy to use iPad, and it's not that much of distracting like a smartphone. So I prefer iPad. For example, I'm eating my lunch or dinner. I watch a podcast, or I mean like listen a podcast or a TED Talks, or related to any kind of lecture. So apart from my studies, m- I still use it for a lot of different other kinds of thing, like cooking. Maybe I'm trying to cook a new dish today. So as I'm preferring like chopping the ingredient.
Right. We are slowly losing a bit of coherence and slightly, not much, but yeah, it's important to stick um, on the topic.
I try to look like what it's like in this video. This guy is showing me how to cook. So this daily activities, I need help from this technology. And also for health reason, like I ask chat GPT, all like a lot of other things that I need to know for my like curiosity. And
Thank you. Right. So if you saw that I stopped the candidate, and because her 2 minutes was over, okay. So if the examiner does stop you, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing, okay. It just means that the time is over. Most of the time. That's what it means. That the time is over. Your 2 minutes is over. So that's what happened here. And what happens if you have not finished your 2 minute talk? in that time. What happens? Nothing. Okay, the examiner just marks what you've said. That's it. Okay, let's continue. Thank you. Let's talk about technology in a bit more detail. Right, before we move on to part three, let's just give a quick bit of feedback. Okay, so there were elements of a band six, some elements of a band five, though. Um, for example, especially with fluency, for example, usually maintains flow of speech, but uses repetition, self correction. Yeah, there's a slight bit of repetition there. However, that was for band five. However, there were some components that are more befitting to describe Farhana's performance that were from a band six. So is willing to speak at length, though may lose coherence at times due to occasional repetition. Okay, which means just a little bit. I think we slightly got off track a little bit. So yeah, overall it was an okay answer. Again, I will give a more detailed feedback at the end. And you can download the band descriptors, by the way, in the description below. That's what I will use to mark this test. So, do you think technology has made life easier or more complicated?
It's a bit controversial thing to discuss actually. Yeah, in a lot of sense, it made our life easy, but in other sense, maybe it makes something difficult or even harmful for some reason. Like for example, I want to say, the kids when we were kid, we used to like play, play outside, do other things, creative things mostly. But nowadays, look around kids around my age. They're mostly like even they are 2 years old. They just sit.
So you can see that we're slowly using a tiny bit of coherence there because you said around my age, and then you were talking about 2 year olds. So it's a little bit off topic. Once you finish your answer, I will explain how to improve this answer.
Around this sofa, middle of the corner of the room, and they just watch these cartoons. I don't know, whatever they watch. They are using iPad, like, or smartphone or computer, their own computer. So they're not doing. They're not in the present moment right now.
Good use of intonation there. They're not doing good.
They're not enjoying the lively, like youthful days they have right now, but they're spending them this time.
Right at this point, the answer is becoming a bit too long, which again does affect your coherence. An answer doesn't need to be this long. Okay, but let's continue.
On this technology, which is not good, which is not like in my perspective actually.
Okay. Right. Overall, that was a decent answer. Your vocabulary is good there. Your pronunciation was fine. Intonation, there were good elements of that being used. Overall, it was fine. However, we could improve on coherence. Now, and I'll explain how. I mentioned coherence a few times. It's not that much of a big problem for you, Farhana, to be honest with you. However, you can easily improve this and get a much higher score. That's why I'm mentioning it. So, how can we improve this answer? Well, you started this answer by saying, yes, it's a bit of a controversial answer. And then you mentioned yes and no. Okay. Ignore the yes and no. Okay. If somebody says, is technology a bad thing? Don't say yes and no because this. Just say yes, it's bad because of a few reasons. Firstly, another reason why it's bad is because however, some people might disagree. That's it. Okay. So your answer would be a lot cleaner. At the moment, it's a bit we don't know what your opinion was. Okay. And that can mess up your organization. Yes, I hope that helps. That's for everyone. Let's continue. And do you think children should use technology in schools?
Yeah, it, it should be, and it's 2024 right now. So we should use technology.
This is a much better start to your response because of that exact reason I just explained. You said yes and just went straight in and explained. Let's continue. Hopefully, this will be a much precise answer, a much more precise.
It's not always harmful. Like for example, if uh, in the time of pandemic, we started
Pandemic. Yeah, not pandemic. Pandemic.
using technology more. Back in the day, we didn't have online classes or remote job as usual or as common as it is now. So children should get used to it from just school life, from their school life, to use technology more in future for their job or career. So yeah.
Right, a much better response. You did exactly what I was just advising you to do there. You just give one answer, yes, it's good, and here's why. And you also gave an example. You've given a few examples throughout this speaking test. I have noticed them. I've not mentioned them just yet, but I have noticed them, and that's a good thing that you've given them. Well done. Let's continue. Your answers are becoming much more stronger. Well done. And what are the advantages of children using technology?
Advantage, there's no particular thing I want to mention, but uh, it totally depends on the this baby and like kid, like which kind of interest they have. If they are interested in math, maybe they can find hundred of like thousands of resources they want, like the problems they want to.
Right. Okay. This is very important feedback to everyone watching this. Um, Lots of people, when they answer questions from part three, they try to answer what they think is right. Okay, you don't need to do that. Just answer the question in the easiest way possible. For example, if the examiner asks me, do you think iPhone is a good phone for children? I can think about my opinion. Yeah, it can be, but I don't really know if I agree with this. And it becomes a bit of a confusing answer. Okay. So if the examiner asks you, just say yes and give a few reasons. Yes, it's an amazing phone for children to use because it has internet, which can help students learn. It also has a camera, which students can use to, and then just carry on. Okay. Yeah, we want a clear answer, not a slightly gray answer.
Solve. So the option and like the globalization from this technology, they're having the access to know a lot of different kinds of people around the world, which were not possible in our days actually. We are mostly from like studying from textbook back in the day, but right now they have the access to get along with all the other kids around the world. So this is a huge advantage, but there's a lot of other things also. So
Okay. And do you think people rely on that was a good answer, a decent answer. Yeah. Technology too much?
now it is, yeah, absolutely. Like me, for me, if I say something, um, I ask too much question to chat GPT. I'm like AI. I ask too much question. Like even if it's for curiosity,
I'm the same for Hannah. I do the exact same. I think I use ChatGPT a bit too much. But let's carry on.
which is not good. Like it's not always authentic, like for a religious or spiritual thing, if you ask to AI, it's not always authentic. They can't give you authentic data. I mean, um so we are like relying on technology too much, which is not good. We should have the physical conversation with people.
Okay. Thank you very much. We've now come to the end of this speaking test. So I will now stop the recording. Right, let's get ready for my analysis. So, first of all, I want you to download this document so we can mark this together. It's in the description below, and we will use this to assess Prahanna's performance. So, let's start with fluency and coherence. So, um, the first bullet point is we'll start with the band 6. So, is willing to speak at length though may lose coherence at times due to occasional repetition, self correction, or hesitation. There wasn't much hesitation. There wasn't much self correction. So these things are good that you didn't include these. There wasn't much repetition either, but you did lose coherence at times. Sometimes your answers kind of didn't answer the question directly. Sometimes they went on for a bit too long. So although you were willing to speak at length, you did lose coherence. Okay. Yeah. So we've got the first one. Let's look at the second one. Uses a range of connectives and discourse markers, but not always appropriately. I think that's a perfect description of your speaking performance. You used some connectives, some discourse markers. Not all of them were appropriate. Most of them were, but you only used a few though. I would like you to use a lot more. There were only a few. Okay. Let's look at a band 7 actually, because you've got both of those for a band 6. Can we get a band 7 for fluency and coherence? Well, speaks at length speaks at length without noticeable effort or loss of coherence. No, unfortunately, because you were willing to speak at length, but the loss of coherence, it was there and it was quite noticeable as well. So we didn't get the first bullet point. Let's look at the second one. May demonstrate language-related hesitation at times or some repetition and self-correction. Again, no repetition, really, not self-correction, but there was a language-related hesitation. I think if you were able to control your sentences and know when to finish them, you may be able to get this bullet point. But unfortunately, we haven't so far. Okay, so no point looking at the third one because we wouldn't get a band 7, even if we did get that third bullet point. So for fluency and coherence, we have a band 6. For lexical resource, let's look at a band 6. Has the wide enough vocabulary to discuss topics at length and make meaning clear in spite of inappropriacies. Yes, there were some inappropriacies, but again, even though you had them, still for the most part, the meaning was pretty clear. Generally, paraphrases successfully. Yes, I mentioned that throughout. You did do that. Now I already know this speaking rubric, so I already know that she didn't hit the band descriptors for a band 7, so we won't look at that. Grammatical range and accuracy for a band 6 uses a mix of simple and complex structures, yes, but with limited flexibility. Yes, okay. You only need to do a little bit more to get rid of that limited, so it's with some flexibility, but at the moment the flexibility is limited. Okay, second bullet point, may make frequent mistakes with complex structures. Again, I mentioned this throughout, though these rarely cause comprehension problems. Yes. Okay, now again, I already know the band descriptors, so we won't look at a band 7 because Farhana hasn't got those. So far we're on 3 6s. Okay, let's look at pronunciation. So we'll start off with the band 6 because that's the where she is at around about. She gets these 3 bullet points. We move up. If not, we might stay where we are, or we might have to move down. Let's see. So pronunciation uses a range of pronunciation features with mixed control. Yes, I mentioned this again throughout. Some of the things that you mentioned, the intonation was apparent. It was there, but we would like to see a bit more. Also, although you used intonation in some places, every now and then it wasn't in the correct place. I didn't mention that because it didn't make too much of an issue, but just something to keep in mind if you want those higher bands. But yeah, so we've got the first bullet point. Second bullet point shows some effective use of features, but this is not sustained. Yeah, you definitely got that. and can generally be understood throughout, though mispronunciation of individual words or sounds reduces clarity at times. Yes. So we've got a band 6 for that as well. Now, in order to get a 7, you need some of the features of a band 8, but not all of them. So you need all the band 6 and some of the features of a band 8, which I don't think we've got. So far, your overall score for Hannah is a band 6, and you've got a 6 in every component. Now, what can we do to improve? Well, I will just give you one piece of feedback. Just focus on this, and that's to make your answers a bit more coherent. How can we do that? Well, trying to give clear answers. So, for example, if somebody asks, are there any advantages of using the internet? Don't say yes and no. Just say yes, there are. Okay, these are the advantages. Or say no, there's not that many advantages, and then explain why. Don't try to give answers for both because the answer gets a bit confusing. And if we were to explain both sides, the answer can become too long. And then again, we lose coherence. So just focus on giving clear answers, and you're almost there because you did give examples. Okay, and that brings us to the end of this video. Well done, Farhana. If you would like your own free speaking test with myself, again, join my WhatsApp group, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.